Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Round of Sound. We are live tonight with the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Bob Pompeani here, manning the controls. We have a lot to get into, of course. We'll talk about the Pirates, who completed the winter meetings with not much going on out there, although Jason Makey talked to Scott Boras, who thinks things may be picking up in the free agent business for the Pirates. We'll talk about the Pirates. We'll also talk about the Penguins, and is Mike Sullivan doing his best coaching job right now. But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will clearly be the Pittsburgh Steelers, who had a golden opportunity tonight to move ahead of Buffalo, playing them at home, where they were 5-2 this season. Did not get it done. The offense sputtered largely. The defense played well enough to win, but they lose, as you saw tonight, 17-10, that final score. So let's introduce our panel. Left to right on your television screen, we have Paul Zeise, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and 93.7 The Fan. Over to the far left, in the middle it is Jason Makey, outstanding beat writer for the Pirates for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and Chris Mueller, festooned with a Christmas garb already. Like that one, Chris, part of the PM team every day, 2 to 6 on 93.7 The Fan. So let's get right into it. Devlin Hodges is always a topic of conversation. It's been good so far. He's not made mistakes. Tonight he made a lot of mistakes. Paul Zeise, I want to get your take on that. Your thoughts about his efforts tonight, and he did seem to float the ball quite a bit. He missed some wide open receivers, especially James Washington at the end. Do you think the Steelers are in the position to make a quarterback change next week?
No, I mean, I don't, because it's just, you know, he's been a guy, he's had a couple of good weeks in a row. I mean, what do you expect? He's a rookie, #1. #2, he wasn't expected to be a starter. And this is a really good defense. I mean, I think the biggest thing with him is they've got to allow him to probably open things up a little bit earlier. But the big thing is they've got to identify passes that he just can't make. There's a reason why he was undrafted, and one of it is his arm strength is not what it needs to be. And some of those throws they're asking him to make, he's just not going to be able to get the ball there in time against NFL corners. So to me, I think you don't have to go real conservative with him, but you've got to develop a game plan that goes to his strengths and what he's good at. And if they do that, though, I think they'll be fine against the Jets.
I would turn to Mason Rudolph, and it's nothing against Duck Hodges, but you just threw 4 interceptions. Where is sort of a stranglehold on your job? I know a couple games ago I was in favor of going with Duck Hodges because he was winning games, and that's what you need to do. They didn't win. You throw 4 interceptions. You play like that. You have a capable guy in Mason Rudolph sitting on the bench. I mean, I don't disagree with a lot of what you said, Paul. I don't think the game plan was favorable to Duck Hodges, but the throws they're asking him to make, how they're asking him to play doesn't work. You have a guy on the bench who can do it. Why not?
Well, if you had a guy on the bench who could do it, he'd be in there doing it because he was the 3rd-round pick, and this guy came from literally out of nowhere, from a couch in Alabama. So that's the thing. The guy who's the pick who was supposed to be able to do it can't. He threw 4 picks against the Browns, who are not going to be confused defensively with the Buffalo Bills. For me, this was really an unsurprising result. I thought this was a complete toss-up game, so you couldn't be surprised either way if it was a 1-score game with either victor. I would have been very surprised had it been a tie, like my co-host said it would be. It also shouldn't have been that surprising that Duck Hodges looked uncomfortable. He was checking plays and looking at coverages very late. They were getting off the line of scrimmage, the Bills' defense, that is, as a result, because they're snapping the ball, the Steelers, at 1 and no time left on the play clock with their ears pinned back, and then he's floating the ball. I agree with Paul. I think the best thing here is the onus has to be, 1, you stay with Hodges. 2, the onus has to be on Randy Fichtner. Come up with something, a menu, that this guy can execute, and execute with confidence. What you saw today was what happens when a guy that doesn't have a great pro-level strength arm float the ball and hope. And you can't do that against good defenses. He beat on the Bengals coming in halfway through. He got Cleveland, and now he got a real defense, and you saw what happened.
Yeah, this was the best defense I think you're going to see maybe all season long. They are really good. They can get after it. Jason, I want to ask you also about, the Steelers don't have a tight end right now. Vance McDonald is out with injury. Vanette has just been in there. They use Gentry tonight, but I think the absence of a playmaker tight end really complicates things too, don't you?
Yeah, it does. And it's, part of what Chris and Paul are saying in terms of how Duck Hodges has been used in the game plan that he's forced to work within. You need somebody to throw over the middle of the field. I mean, whether that's with Nick Vanette or, I don't know who your tight end's going to be. It can basically be anybody they can find. Zach Gentry.
How about JuJu SmithSchuster if he's healthy? Because he's 6'2", 215, and at least traffic's over there. I haven't been, Jason, like this guy that's been all over the idea that, man, they need Smith-Schuster because he's had a pretty bad year. But if you have somebody like that who can play in the slot, who's comfortable there suddenly, then maybe you can work that part of the field with a little bit more confidence because there's a veteran hand there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have JuJu SmithSchuster back, but believe me, I'd take anybody. I'd take an attempt there. Just let's call some plays, give him options. And to be fair, I mean, James Washington ran a bit of a crossing route, probably best classified as a post on the interception that was thrown to Deion Kane. I believe that was the third one of the game for Hodges. Wide open. I mean, that was a perfectly called play, and Duck Hodges didn't see him. But more plays over the middle, more things to open up the other routes.
Well, we were talking earlier about when Mason Rudolph was playing for early on that they were dumping it off too much. And it's like, I understand they were doing it too much, but that's not a bad option if you got a running back out there. And I don't know, I mean, is running backs going to be a topic? Because if not, what I'm going to say is this. The biggest problem I see with this Steelers offense, beyond the fact that they've got a pop gun arm for their quarterback, is the fact that they decided, I guess they feel like every guy on this team has to get their money's worth and get in for a play, like it's middle school football and everybody's got to play 10 plays. How about pick a personnel package, and let's just see. I mean, it's bad enough you've got a young quarterback trying to figure it out. He's got to turn around and figure out who he's handing it off to because there's 19 different running backs, there's 18 different receivers, and they just keep throwing all these guys in there. How about get a personnel package that works, that can develop a little chemistry, and let's see what happens.
Paul, Coach Randy solved the problem for you. He had one running back handing off to the other running back.
Oh, my God.
That was not very
This was
good.
a game that begged
Wildcat.
for this was a game that begged for the Indianapolis Colts game plan where I'm serious, where Jalen Samuels caught the ball 13 times on 13 targets for 70 some odd yards, and it functioned as what amounted to a de facto extension of the running game. They need to put Hodges, and this is, I think, what we're all saying in so many words, in situations where on second and third down, the other number is 3 or 4 and not 9, because that's when trouble's going to happen for these guys, and their defense is eventually not going to be able to continually bail them out.
All right, we have plenty more coming up. I want to get into playoff implications now. The Steelers still are in a position to get in as a 6-5 seed, will be gone, most likely, to Buffalo, although they still have a chance to win a division. So we'll see what happens against New England next week. That should be a very interesting game. We'll talk about that. We'll also get into New England. Speaking of them, the videotape was released. I'm anxious to see what these guys think about punishment. Should there be? What should it be, if any? We'll get into that when we come back. But if you'd like to enjoy the game from the comfort of your couch, you're going to love this new stuff they have at #1 Cochran Expressway at Cochran.com, where you can buy your car from your couch. It's easy. Expressway lets you complete some, most, or all of the buying process online, spend less time or no time at all in the showroom. That's right. They'll even offer delivery at no extra charge to your house. Buy a car your way with Expressway at Cochran.com. We return right after this. The #1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran. Go one better. And by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.